Madame Bovary is a novel written by French author Gustave Flaubert and published in 1856. It is set in provincial France and it follows Madame Bovary, who goes to great lengths in order to escape her boring and banal life. The center of the novel is the character Emma Bovary, but the French author Gustave Flaubert also emphasized his social critique towards life in French provinces in the 19th century. The themes of the novel are marriage and adultery. By characterizing his characters, Flaubert made a new concept called Bovarism, defined as people's tendency to consider themselves different than they actually are and believe, like Emma, that they are made from another destiny. Madame Bovary begins with the childhood of Charles Bovary, who as a young boy had difficulty fitting in. By the time Charles is a young man, he is characterized as being quite mediocre, failing to pass a medical exam. He is, however, able to become a country doctor. He is married by his mother to a widow, who dies quickly. It is not long before Charles meets Emma, a patient's daughter, and they fall in love. The two get married and find a home in Toasts. Emma quickly realizes that Charles and the marriage don't match her romantic dreams about love and marriage, which she believed would be the solution to all of life's problems. Emma lived in a convent before her marriage, where life was dull, and she deeply wished for a more fanciful life. At a ball hosted by a wealthy gentleman, Emma begins to daydream about a more interesting life. The mundanity of her current life depresses her, and country life is boring to Emma. She becomes pregnant and ill, so Charles decides that to improve her health they must move to Yonville. In Yonville, Emma meets new people, including the self-absorbed pharmacist, James, and the bored law clerk, Leon. Soon after, Emma gives birth to a daughter named Berthe. She is deeply disappointed, as she had wanted a son and doesn't find motherhood fulfilling. Bored once more, Emma dreams again of a more interesting life. Emma and Leon soon develop romantic feelings for each other, and when Emma realizes that Leon loves her, she tries her best to fulfill the role of the loyal, dutiful wife. Leon, bored of waiting around for her, leaves Yonville to study law in Paris, leaving Emma miserable once again. Not long after, Emma's wealthy neighbor Rodolphe declares to Emma that he is in love with her at an agricultural affair. Attracted to her beauty, he seduces her. The two begin a passionate affair that, despite Emma's discretion, becomes the town gossip. Charles is completely blind to the affair. His reputation as a doctor suffers when an experimental surgery on a man with a club foot goes wrong and leads Charles to call in another doctor to amputate the leg. Emma is dissatisfied with her husband's stupidity and continues her affair with Rodolphe even more passionately than before. Lavishing him with gifts, Emma suggests they run away together with her daughter, but Rodolphe grows bored of Emma and leaves her. Emma becomes ill and Charles is left with a lot of debt from Emma's spending and illness. When she recovers, Charles takes her to the opera in Rouen, where they run into Leon. Romantic feelings come back between Emma and Leon and they begin a secret love affair. She continuously sneaks off to Rouen to meet with Leon, digging herself deeper and deeper into debt, as she is borrowing from the moneylender Leroux, who has very high interest rates. Emma grows bored with her affair with Leon and becomes very demanding of him, while at the same time falling deeper into debt. Leroux eventually comes to seize Emma's property, so she tries her best to raise money by appealing to the townspeople and Leon, for she doesn't want Charles to find out. Emma becomes so desperate that she returns to Rodolphe and tells him she will prostitute herself for him as long as he gives her money. He refuses to do so, and Emma falls into a deep pit of despair. She doesn't know what to do or how to get out of the debt she has created. She decides to commit suicide by eating arsenic and dies in terrible, painful agony. Madame Bovary explores many themes, such as love, desire, femininity, deceit, communication and the lack of it. Because Emma is obsessed with romance novels, she comes to understand love and desire only as portrayed in them. Emma desperately wants to find true love, however, she only sees the superficial aspect of it, as in letters and flowers and not really as a deep connection between people. Throughout the novel, Emma is betrayed and disappointed because none of her lovers seems to meet her needs and wishes. She does not truly understand what is being said in the romance novels and deceives herself as well as others. As for women and femininity, the novel portrays the perfect version of the 19th century woman. However, while Emma presents herself as a beautiful, obedient wife, she is, in fact, an adulteress and desperate to escape her life. The novel shows the difficulties women faced during this period where their actions were deeply judged. Male characters, on the other hand, are presented as more powerful and able to deeply impact the lives of women for better or for worse. Since Emma's romance novels describe appearance rather than experience, love, for Emma, is identical to the appearance of love, to certain expressions of love. Her third-rate novels have no fully developed characters, only cardboard stereotypes, so she comes to understand love not as a feeling of admiration and affection for a distinct person, but as a series of pleasure-giving interactions. Love, for her, is desire, sex, and flowery letters. She does not recognize that these are only the surface aspects of an emotion. She mistakes the smoke for the fire. In this sense, she and Rodolphe are alike. Love affairs, for him, amount only to a series of pretty faces and sentimental words, with no distinct people or feelings behind them. Love understood as pleasure is self-directed and self-contained. It is fundamentally an interaction with oneself, in which another person serves as a prop. A love like Charles's, on the other hand, is directed outward at the beloved, anchored in the other person's qualities, cares, and general well-being. It brings joy, but only incidentally, an unselfish joy in the beloved's existence. Emma and Charles embody two extremes of love, which in life are always mingled. For Emma and Lyon, experiencing the right kind of love is also bound up with self-image. Since love in books dwells only in aristocratic homes, they feel that the right kind of love connects them to the right kind of life, the refined, elevated life they've always dreamed of. Rodolphe's love affairs are also bound up with self-image, because they allow him to feel strong, canny, and superior. Unlike Rodolphe, Emma wants love that is true and everlasting, but a frail foundation of sensual pleasure weakened by the intrusions of reality keeps her affairs disappointing and short. Although it may be easy to blame Emma for her choices, she is trapped because of her gender by the society she lives in. Her safety and comfort necessarily depend on a man, first her father and then Charles. She cannot leave Charles despite her unhappiness, as there are no real options for an alternative life. Emma is aware of her limited power, as she hopes her baby will be male because a woman is always hampered. In some ways, Emma's infidelities may be read as an attempt to claim power and rebel against the helplessness of her situation. Emma conducts transactions for power using the only currency allowed, her body. Yet Emma's attempts to compete with the money and property of the male realm using this medium ultimately fail her. She is abandoned by her lovers, she begs for money to pay her debt in exchange for sexual favors, and she obtains the arsenic to commit suicide through the use of sexual power over Justin. By reading this book, and accurately analyzing the author's significant events, one can plainly conclude that Flaubert actually did tie in those events with the theme of Madame Bovary. A creation of one's conscience that can only be explained through the eyes of another. It's about love, hate, and destiny, while holding every true emotion in the context as well. In mid-19th century France, women were limited in their freedom. Women, especially in the middle classes, were reliant on their husbands, who had the financial power and ability to own property. Emma dreams of a luxurious and extravagant lifestyle that would excite her and help her escape the mundane country life. However, she is unable to manifest those dreams into a reality. She becomes frustrated when Charles, who lacks ambition, doesn't try to raise their social status. She tries to fulfill her duties as a faithful wife, even leaving her affair with Leon when she realizes he loves her. She also has a baby, which she laments is a daughter who will have to live under the same limitations as Emma. The limitations as a woman and her dreams of a romantic life push her to make questionable decisions, such as engaging in extramarital affairs and spending excessive money. It is in these situations that Emma finds her power. Emma can use her beauty and sexuality to get what she wants. Yet, by the end, when she tries to get out of her financial debt, she offers to prostitute herself. Driven to such moral corruption, she sees no way out other than suicide, an extension of the autonomy she tries to have over her life. A seminal work of literary realism, the novel is now considered Flaubert's masterpiece, and one of the most influential literary works in history.